First, let me express condolences to the families, to the villages, to the people of the township of Mahdia and the entire Region 8 who is mourning the loss of the tragic death of these children. This is something that will not go away. It will remain in our history for many, many decades to come. People will refer to it. But what do we do in these times? In these times, I think two things comes first. One is security, and the second one is the human factor. I say security because we are focusing just on the children who would have died in the fire, but they were survivors too. And their parents whose children would have just written the grade 6 examinations. And they have already thought about sending their children to stay in the dorms. So it is not just about those families who are experiencing this tragic moment. It is about all these other people, the workers, etc. And so we need to very quickly, and I call on the Minister of Human Services, to very quickly put together a team to get in to Region 8, both subregions 1 and 2, and to have discussions. I don't know how many persons we do have in the country that can help with the psychological effect on these persons. Today we heard of one of the students trying to commit suicide, and this is going to continue. This particular dormitory have a history of events that is not one that makes you feel safe. Because just a year or so ago, we have seen videos of these very young people being possessed. We have seen the pastors and men and women of God praying and casting out spells, etc., from these young people. And so that region, when it comes to children staying in the dormitory, they're traumatized. And I'm quite certain there are many students who passed to go to the secondary school but was never sent because of the fear of the parents. And so as a nation, I want to say to people, I am tired of seeing all the things on Facebook. At least for once, let us be positive. Could we start putting up some suggestions out there? What is it that can be done? What resources do we have in subregion 1 and 2? We have a whole host of churches, and we have some NGOs. What can be done in terms of pulling them together and put them to work in the various villages and communities? And listen, I'm not casting blame on anybody, but I believe there are many, many people who are responsible. Today I saw a video with the kids going down to the creek to bathe. They don't have a bathroom. Simple things like that. And these are the things that we overlook, especially when you're in the coastland. You don't know what is happening in the hinterland areas unless you go and you see for yourself. A couple years ago, it was the toilets. It was schools having pit latrines. And until a child met her demise, then we started to install flush toilet. Come on, we're an Irish nation. We got money to put up billboards all over the place. Couldn't we not give these people the basic necessities? And I think we have to start even from there. We're talking about smoke alarms and fire extinguishers and so. That is a given. It means that the Minister of Labor, Who is in charge of the health and occupation safety department got to get up too. That's why I said I'm not blaming any particular person, because how it is, though inspections were made at these schools and so on, to ensure that they have the necessary equipment in case of an emergency. How is it that it's only now we're hearing that the children are locked from inside? You know, all of these are things that we as a nation have to start churning in our minds and stop saying it's not my business or I am not a politician, because those kids are not politicians. Perhaps they may have been if they had the opportunity to grow into adulthood. And so it's all of our responsibility. Let's stop the theatrics. Let's stop the photographs and all of that. And let's really get down to business. I would have been happy to hear the president say that, look, I have already called in the fire chief, the police, the head of the occupation health and safety department, etc., to start a committee that will review the recommendations that was made several years ago in terms of our fire codes, etc., in these public places. Because it's not just dorms. Do the police officers, the training school, do they have smoke alarms? Do they have fire extinguishers? Our prisons, do they have? Our homes, do they have? Come on, it cannot be a Band-Aid method. We cannot use a Band-Aid to stop this big porous sore which we have in our society. As a people, we never took those things seriously. But I trust that through this tragic incident, we would surely look at the bigger picture, the broader picture, and the government will come up with a plan that says, in the next 6 months, we are going to do this. In the next 6 months, we are going to do that. In the next 6 months, we are going to do that. And so that we can fix it all around. We have all these children homes and so on. Do we have all these things in place? We need to take stock.